Big it up, big it up. Yeah. Here we go.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Notorious NerdyD Wrestling Show, the single greatest wrestling podcast on the internet. I am your host, NerdyD, and joining me on the ones and twos, working the mics and cameras, is my better half, Level Up Lauren.
What's up, y'all?
Each and every week, we bring you everything you need to know about the world of professional wrestling. Make sure to like and subscribe to this show on YouTube at NerdyD Wrestling Show, or subscribe on your favorite podcasting network. We are on Spotify, Google Podcast, and officially on Apple Podcast.
Ooh,
so you can find us there. We had some listens on Apple Podcast.
Damn.
Make sure to leave us a review or a comment to help us get into the algorithm, or a 5-star rating, whatever it is. Just go ahead and hit that button and make sure we get on the, it's not called the For You page, it's the featured page on Apple.
Yeah.
We're trying to get on that featured page. Tonight, we're going to put company lines to the side and draft our ultimate fantasy roster that I would start a wrestling company with. But first, housekeeping. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show. We're absolutely done talking about fucking Darby Allin and the size of wrestlers. I'm done. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done. I've said my piece. Everybody knows my opinion at this point, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore. If I don't talk about Darby Allin for the next 6 months, I will be a happy man. I'm tired of Darby Allin. I don't even care enough about him. He just got roped into that size argument, and then it felt like 2 weeks felt like an eternity with that.
Yeah.
I think people were starting to get tired of hearing me say it. But I was beating my fucking battle drum. I had to lay down the line, and I think, like always, I came out on top of that one. Mm-hmm. Also won't talk about Sammy Guevara anymore, even though he's a skeezy little ass motherfucker, and how somebody informed me this week that he actually, at one point in his career, did an interview where he claimed he would rape Sasha Banks, and we're just all going to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. I guess the AEW fans, we're just all going to be okay with that. We're going to let that one slide. Because I guess dude can wrestle a little bit. We're just going to be okay, because that's not how normal people talk.
Nah.
That's not locker room talk. That's not how normal people talk. Normal dudes don't see a girl and go, I'm going to rape that girl.
Yeah.
Like, if you're thinking that way,
A little fucked up.
he's a little fucked up. He's definitely a little fucked up. Poll of the week for last week was, should CM Punk be the AEW World Champion in 2022? Lauren, got to talk to you about this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Now, you're much smarter than I am. I concede that all the time. You're way smarter than I am.
Yeah.
But when we do something called a poll,
Yeah.
what do you think that entails?
A poll?
I'm guessing like one of those little things on TikTok where you could push the buttons and the percentages come up.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't on there. You just posted it as a question, which is fine for this week, because there was a pretty overwhelming consensus. But going into next week, let's try and run that thing as a poll. Like, let's run it as an actual poll where we could get hard data coming out of this thing. But the overwhelming consensus, which surprised me a little bit, was that CM Punk should not be a world champion in 2022. And as always, I feel like I'm going against the grain. My disdain for CM Punk is well known, I think, at this point, but he's good for business, and I think at some point in 2022, he will hold a major championship in AEW.
Yeah.
So the poll for next week, the one that we're actually going to put up the little poll situation on that you can vote on, will be, are you a fan of WWE releasing all of the women's names pre-Royal Rumble?
Okay.
So the poll will be, are you a fan of the WWE ruining all the surprises for the Women's Royal Rumble pre-Royal Rumble?
Okay.
You can piece that together however you want, but just with a yes or no answer.
Yes. And I'll make a poll, an actual poll.
All right.
I can do that.
All right. So unfortunately, I have to officially concede that I did not win the first ever Notorious NerdyD belt event, day one pay-per-view. I've conceded. I've been told. I saw you actually put up a poll for that, which is interesting. You do know
because it was about me, so you know.
You do know what a poll is when it's about you. You just don't know what it is when it's about something I need information on. So I did see you were able to put up a poll for that, and overwhelmingly everybody sided with you, which clearly I'm going to have to get used to. I'm going to get vetoed in this situation.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they just like me better.
I'm sure they do. I don't think anybody on the internet likes me. I've come to that simple conclusion that nobody in the internet wrestling community likes me. Nobody, right? Yeah. Which leads me into like the last little bit of housekeeping. I want to kind of do a state of the union for this podcast and kind of define what it is, because over the last 2 weeks, our numbers have jumped like exponentially. We've seen a big increase in audio listeners and in video listeners. It's been actually equal. So I want to kind of, I want to go on to kind of clear some things up for new listeners of the podcast. This is 100%. This show is a wrestling podcast for casual wrestling fans. I in no way associate with the opinions of the internet wrestling community. I am not a hardcore wrestling fan. I talk a lot of shit. I act like I know a lot of shit. I'm talking out my ass a lot of the times. A lot of times I'm right. There's a lot of times I'm wrong, but these are my true opinions. This is why this show will never feature interviews with anybody affiliated with any wrestling company. It's not what I do, because the minute you start to cater to those kind of people, you are affiliating. Like right now I'm high on WWE, low on AEW. Yeah. That can change at any moment. And it's why people are like, bro, you should just do a WWE podcast. No, I should just speak on what I feel, how I feel in that moment. And at this time, I am a casual wrestling fan, probably why I gauge more towards WWE, but I do enjoy AEW. There's a lot wrong with both companies. And like I said, this is a casual wrestling podcast. I've labeled myself on TikTok. I am the voice of the casual wrestling fans, because I don't want to get in and mix it up with all these fucking idiot know-it-alls in the internet wrestling community who throw around all these fucking terms. They have terminology and they want to fight each other and they want to duet each other. As it is, I've cut back on like answering 50% of the negative comments. Yeah. I'm trying to just not address them at all. It's fucking hard. It's hard because they say such stupid things and they try to attack things in a way that's like, bro, it's just an opinion, right? Yeah. But I'm trying to ease up, trying to just talk to the positive people and move forward. But like I said, State of the Union, this is 100% a casual wrestling podcast. This is not what we do. This is not a job. We don't get paid by anybody. We don't make advertising money. We don't have a Patreon. We don't have a Cash App. I'm not coming in, week out going, hey man, just donate to the show, right? Eventually, could this show get to that point? 100%, right? Who knows what happens? If this thing gets rolling and gets going, we'll figure out a way to make it work where it's only to just better the show. Like the money would better the show. But at this point, I'm not even thinking like that. At this point in time, I'm just talking shit on a microphone because I need a creative outlet, a place to talk. And I've enjoyed the interaction back from people.
And you don't pay me to listen to you.
I don't pay you to listen to me. And contrary to what some people believe, I think you enjoy professional wrestling. I don't think it's your favorite thing in the world, but it's something that as a married couple, we're able to connect on and watch together. Uh-huh. You enjoy professional wrestling on the same level that I watch The Real Housewives with you, and I enjoy that, or Vanderpump Rules, right? Yeah. I enjoy those shows. Will I ever be an expert? Probably not. Do I remember everybody's name? Never. But I enjoy it. It's like reality TV, and I enjoy it. And you enjoy watching wrestling with me. Mm-hmm. And so for the people who come out here and go, she hates it. I don't think you hate it. No. I don't think you hate it, right? I mean, you get somewhat of an enjoyment.
I get a lot of enjoyment, and I like learning backstories, and I like going in to know about the person themselves.
Like it in a different way. You like it almost as if it was a reality show. You want to know more about them. You liked Total Divas. You liked Total Bellas. You liked a lot of the places where you could see their actual personalities. Whereas, like, I can tell you with, like, I think it was Miro. You did it with...
Ew, I hated Miro. And
You've done it
Seth
with
Rollins. I hated Seth Rollins, and I hated Roman Reigns, and I actually really, really liked them.
And then when you found out more about them and kind of their personal life and saw them in other lights, you began to like them, and that's fine.
Yes, I'm totally biased on like if I like you as a person, then I start to like you as a wrestler. That's how I felt about Darby Allin.
Are you doing the little things on the side?
I can't figure out how to do it.
What's wrong with it?
I'm pressing the button and it's not working.
It's not doing anything?
No.
All right, well, so we'll ignore the little things on the side this week.
Yes.
Let's jump into our overreactions. So overreacting this week, we got our first look at Roman Reigns without Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
We got to see Roman Reigns come out to the ring. He didn't come out with the Usos, didn't come out with Paul Heyman. It was solo Roman. And then he was interrupted by Brock. So we got what we finally been waiting for was a Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman moment with all of them in the ring. Went pretty much as expected, except for the little tease that I loved. I thought it was really good. The little did you catch where Roman kind of protected Paul Heyman and Paul Heyman kind of came back and protected Roman Reigns, and there was this like little bit of kind of like hey, we still got love for each other going on. Did you catch that moment?
No, I probably went over my head.
So yeah, there was this moment, and they're teasing the fact that like there's some love there in between those two, and it's probably not over. And we all predicted wrongly that Paul Heyman wasn't done with Roman Reigns. He wasn't gonna. But I think there's a long-term story being told here. I think there's a possibility Paul Heyman's more torn than we originally thought, and this is going to play out long-term all the way to WrestleMania, because let's not get it twisted. We have officially hit WrestleMania season. This is the build to WrestleMania. Coming into Royal Rumble, the stories are being set. You'll get a bunch of throwaway matches going into that moment, into that big WrestleMania moment. So they're aligning people like... we saw Bianca Belair get screwed out of a match, and they got Doudrop fighting Becky Lynch, because all those big matches are being saved for WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
I'm sold on Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar being the main event for WrestleMania.
Oh, definitely.
They've sold me. At first, I was a little worried. I didn't know how good their chemistry was. Neither one has been overly impressive on a microphone until all of a sudden Brock Lesnar's fucking found a personality, and he's Mr. Joke telling, knock knock, fucking slanging. I mean, Brock Lesnar
2.0.
He was impressive on Monday Night Raw for what I know Brock Lesnar to be. This face version of Brock Lesnar is going to propel that match to another level. I love this idea of Roman being the heel and Brock being this funny face that's still a beast. This is what I said they missed with Big E, right? Is you can implement the comedy into the system, but at the end of the day, you have to be extremely fucking dangerous and scary.
Yeah,
and Brock is always that
you see in Brock.
Big E just never quite relayed the fact that, hey man, I am extremely dangerous. And Big E looks extremely dangerous. They needed to sell that part of it of like, I can turn off the comedy and I can go into the crazy.
Yeah.
And they never did that, right? This is going to be good. Roman Reigns is a good bad guy. I've said it for a long time. He ticks all the boxes to be one of the best heels in the business, right? Yes. Now we've got Brock, who is all of a sudden ticking all the right boxes to be a baby face that fans actually get behind. Okay, so we've got those two guys, and then to just like put the whipped cream and the cherry on top, you have Paul Heyman, who's going to fill in every gap that's missing. And I think we're leading into an exciting main event for WrestleMania. I'm still scared about the 2 nights and the 47 matches that they're going to have. I still believe that I like a 1-night WrestleMania.
I think that it makes it more special.
I would even be okay if the 2 nights if they didn't try to balance the 2 nights. If like the first night was more of a pre-show and then the second night was the meat and potatoes. But what they do is they try to balance it out. They try to sell us on 2 main events. And I'm not a huge fan of that. I like the idea. We don't need 47 WrestleMania matches.
Why do they do that?
So I think it started pandemic, I believe, because there was nothing on television and they could own that spot. I also think that it gives them the ability to do things, which I get from a business point of view. Like, you can have Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks as the main event of night one and still sell that as the main event of WrestleMania, right? While not hurting your big, your big match that's selling the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I get why you do it, but I don't love it. And maybe you balance it like number 2, 70% heavy, night 2, 70%, and night 1, you have a big main event, but you put kind of your undercard on night 1. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I think it's time we stop referring to Brock Lesnar as a part-timer, guys. I mean, he's pulling double duty. He's on Monday Night Raw. He's on Friday Night SmackDown. Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins are both pulling double duty. 2 guys that you want to see twice a week. I still believe that the old school Attitude Era mentality, let's shrink down the fucking roster and let's have these guys on TV 2 times a week.
Yeah.
There's just guys that are more interesting than other guys. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate, right? Seth Rollins comes over to SmackDown. We're excited. Brock Lesnar comes over to Monday Night Raw. We're excited. Brock Lesnar's more exciting than most people on Monday Night Raw, and Seth Rollins vice versa.
True.
So, we got to stop. We can't keep calling Brock a part-timer. He's got the ball and he's running with it. He's holding the torch. Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins are both doing a lot of heavy lifting while WWE tries to seek their way through these injuries and COVID and all this stuff that's going on, right? Mm-hmm. We've got Drew down. Kevin Owens is missing, but I think there's more to that Kevin Owens thing coming.
Unless he got the bid too.
I don't think so. I think they're hiding him. I think he's going to help Seth Rollins win at the Royal Rumble. I think that's what they're building to. I think that's a great, it's that old illusion thing, right? They're gonna have Kevin Owens disappear. Hopefully we forget about him. We can't forget about Kevin Owens because he's the fucking heart and soul of Monday Night Raw. Let's not forget that. But they'll kind of put him to the side. Hopefully, I hope we're not done completely with this Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins thing.
Yeah,
because that was gold.
That's a beautiful thing.
I thought that they were going to go after the tag team belts. Apparently, it would be also kind of fun to book them like sharing the WWE Universal title, right? Like it's our title. Yeah. We both won it. Doesn't matter if you win it or if I have it. We have the title, and that's all that matters because we're best friends.
Yeah.
I like that storyline. I like a line. It definitely gets Roman Reigns. People are tired of the Roman Reigns thing. I think it would be good to have him go back to being the underdog and chasing Brock Lesnar with a WWE title.
Yes.
I think you can flip the belts, kind of get the world back in line as Drew McIntyre and these guys come back. But I think that it would be a fun little hitch in the story if somehow Kevin Owens comes out and cost Roman Reigns the match and Seth Rollins ends up champion, and they do some sort of like comedy where they're passing the belt back and forth.
Yeah.
Or just they consider themselves
best
to
friends.
Like both be champion.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about it in the poll early on. I'm going to overreact to this a little bit. We talked about it in the poll for next week or this upcoming week, and that was the WWE's basically played their hand on the women's side of the Royal Rumble, and they've announced a big portion of the names that are going to be featured in this year's Royal Rumble. And it's weirdly interesting to me that they chose to go this route. It feels to me like WWE has this false worry that they've got to do publicity to get people to watch. But if there's one event of the year that doesn't have to be sold based on the card, it's the Royal Rumble. Because people watch the Royal Rumble purely for the surprise. Who could come back, right?
Yeah.
So I think they panicked with Sasha Banks getting hurt, right? Mm-hmm. She's out 6 to 8 weeks. So we know there's no Sasha going into the Rumble. So we are superstar light in the women's division already. Now you subtract Sasha Banks and there's not a lot going there. We do know that they've announced some amazing names that would have been fucking unbelievable surprises, right? Yeah. But they went ahead and announced them. I would have popped for Mickie James because that's this new term I've learned, the forbidden door. That's a new term that I've learned this week is the forbidden
is that?
door. The forbidden door is when somebody it really kind of pertains to WWE because they're kind of the most stingy about it. But when like one company works with another company that you wouldn't expect them to work with and allows a wrestler to come onto that show.
Okay.
So Mickie James is the Impact Women's Champion and she will be appearing in the Royal Rumble. So that's called the Forbidden Door. And that would have, people would have popped for that. They would have been, because people would be like, what the fuck?
Oh, I can't believe they did that.
How is this even working? Right. Then we get Summer Rae.
I saw that.
Summer Rae's interesting because she hasn't appeared on anything WWE since she was released.
Like Total Bellas is the last time I remember seeing her.
Or Total Divas,
Total Divas,
right?
yeah.
But I mean, she hasn't even had any kind of association with the company. So to have her come back, I mean, let's not forget she's still Summer Rae. And now she's Summer Rae who hasn't been in the spotlight for a while. I don't know if she was wrestling like in the indie circuits. I have to imagine she probably was. I don't know. I didn't follow the career of Summer Rae post WWE, but that still would have got a little bit of a pop from wrestling fans. The Bella Twins, right? Had no fucking clue that they were coming back. I didn't know they were on their way back, especially both of them.
Yeah.
That should be fun and exciting. And then that'll add some wrinkles in there. I think Nikki had some problems with Charlotte. So Charlotte's in the Rumble. That'll create some cool storylines, right?
Yeah.
Then we got Melina. These are not confirmed. These two last names. Melina.
Okay. I'm not familiar with who that is.
She used to wrestle with, she was like John Morrison's partner or fiance or something like that.
Okay. If I saw her, I probably would know who she was.
She goes pretty far back. And then Cameron.
I know Cameron.
So Cameron's coming back for the Rumble.
Yeah, she has a podcast.
Or supposedly coming back for the Rumble. So interesting there that they chose to name most of those names and then the last two had leaked. My question is, does this mean that we know everybody in the Rumble? Because I think there's 9 spots left, right? And you got to imagine that the last 9 are like Shotzi, Natalya, Naomi. No, Naomi, does she have a title match?
Wait, the last 9 are the 9 girls that they have left on the roster.
No, I agree. So, I mean, I was wondering, is there one big surprise in there? And I've heard rumblings, I've heard rumors, and you know, you get yourself built up and excited and stuff, and this is probably not true. But I see the inklings of rumors on all these websites, right? And all these articles, Facebooks, Instagrams, every place that I get these wrestling notifications, everybody's whispering that Paige might come back.
Ooh, that would be really, really cool.
It seems in the way she talks that she feels like she could wrestle a match. And so it feels like if there was ever a time that WWE needed somebody like Paige to come back, this is it. This is that time. So
I mean, who do they have right now, really?
I mean, they are the roster is light in the women's division.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sasha's out.
I know who it is.
Who?
It's Eva Marie.
Nah, I think they're done with Eva. Sasha's out 6 to 8. The Bella Twins coming back is interesting because if they're coming back and they're in any kind of decent form or fashion, that fucking women's title needs a fucking pop of adrenaline. And I think it would be fun. They've never been tag team champions.
Really?
The Bella Twins. Yeah, because it just didn't exist when they were big.
I guess that's true.
So I think it would be fun and interesting to have them. I think they would work well with Mella and Zelina. Mm-hmm. So I think that's probably in the works, I would assume.
Okay.
A big WrestleMania draw would be
the Bella Twins.
Okay. When I say big draw, this isn't big like
it's big,
casual
big.
For casual fans and
I'd
people.
Be excited.
This is what I was gonna say. For people like yourself, and I would be excited because I'm casually into wrestling, but for someone like you, I do know that the Bella Twins versus Mella and Zelina Vega, that appeals to you 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's a market for that because they're not. What the fuck else are you doing with that belt? Obviously, Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash are done. They had their little breakup on TV.
Weird as fuck.
I mean, it's what happens, right? That's what happens in wrestling.
Yeah.
Tag teams break up. So I mentioned the Forbidden Door, right? And I explained to you what that is. So this week I've had like a crash course on what this forbidden door is. I knew WWE didn't work with other companies, didn't know there was terminology for it. Apparently Tony Khan uses the analogy a lot. And it looks to me like the rumor is that the men's division is going to try this as well.
Okay.
That they're going to open this forbidden door going into the Royal Rumble. So I did some digging and some sleuthing to see what does the internet think is the highest probability of who comes through that forbidden door down in the Royal Rumble. Who do we see that's not supposed to be there, right?
Okay.
And the internet looked like that the main consensus was the possibility of either Bryan Danielson, because he still has a working relationship with WWE.
Okay.
Could it happen? It would be fucking fun. I don't know.
AEW allow him to?
So I think AEW would. I don't know if WWE wants AEW wrestlers to cross over.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like I've always said, I don't think they're really competition. They appeal to two different audiences.
100%.
I know the TikTok world loves to lump them together and fight, and I love to do it for the effect of doing it, but I really believe they're two different audiences, and that having Bryan Danielson in the Royal Rumble only promotes both companies, right?
Yeah.
Some people have said Moxley.
But then you're in that same thing as AEW.
How does that work? Well, no, right now I'm giving you AEW names.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to get out of AEW in a minute. Moxley, how does that work? Is he Dean Ambrose? Is he John Moxley? I don't think I put low percentages on John Moxley. Then this one intrigued me. This one intrigued me because this one works. Chris Jericho. He's got a great relationship with Vince McMahon. They've always been good friends.
Yeah.
I think when he went to AEW, it wasn't it wasn't really a fuck you to WWE.
No, I heard.
It was more of like, you guys don't need me the way I want to perform.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go try something new. We also know that he's been one of the only guys to appear he was on the Stone Cold podcast while in AEW.
Okay.
So
is that a big deal?
Well, that's an AEW guy getting some kind of promotion in the WWE.
Okay.
So I think there's enough of a friendly working relationship there that works for both companies.
I remember him, because I listened to his podcast, but I remember him saying that he left because he kind of just said, like, there was nowhere else for me to go.
He said, I've
done everything and I'm not going to do the same thing.
Yeah, he said, I'm not going to do you just made the list, or I'm not going to repeat a character that they want me to repeat. I want to go do something new.
Yeah.
So he went on and did something new.
Yeah.
All right, so those are the AEW guys that I've heard. I think Jericho makes the most sense. I do think that if it's an AEW guy, that's who it's going to be.
Yeah.
Bryan Danielson's too hot right now, and AEW, they're not going to, I don't think they want to lend that commodity, but Jericho is the right level of guy to be in that match. So then there's a few guys outside of AEW that the internet is clamoring for. One of them is this dude named Moose.
Okay.
From Impact Wrestling. Big old dude. This dude's been taking shots at Roman Reigns the last couple weeks, which leads me to believe there may be something there. They're going to need things for Roman to do going into WrestleMania, the months leading into WrestleMania. You can't just have him butt heads with Brock Lesnar for the next 3 months. It takes a little bit of the sparkle off that story, right?
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be kind of fun if all of a sudden WWE's like, fuck it, we'll have the Impact champion fight against Roman Reigns at one of our pay-per-views?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see somebody else.
What we have to think about is WWE's definitely in a cost-cutting mode. There's no doubt, right? With all the releases, they released a bunch of wrestlers. They've released a bunch of staff people, in-house company people.
Yeah.
And the rumor has been that they're aligning themselves for some kind of sell, right? They're trying to make the company super attractive. Well, a friendly relationship with Impact will help that for one, but also, what's a very cost-effective way to bring in big wrestlers that you don't have to pay long term? And that is, just working with Impact is going to cause just a ton of outstir, right? Lots of people talking. So you bring this guy Moose in, you let him job out to Roman Reigns, because there's no way he's fucking up Roman Reigns' run into WrestleMania. But it does give Roman Reigns a little cachet going into WrestleMania if all of a sudden he's beating down champions from other companies, right? He can kind of go, I'm the guy who squashed the moose. I don't know who the fuck this moose guy is. He's big as fuck.
Does he become the moose hunter?
I don't know. I mean, the moose hunt. Now you got him going after Brock. Brock hunting the moose.
Da-da-ding.
There's story there. I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
The other name that people throwing around is Matt Cardona, which is Zack Ryder. Yeah, high probability this could happen. I don't know that it creates. This is one of those things that like where we have to draw the line between casual wrestling fans and IWC, Internet Wrestling Community. The Internet Wrestling Community knows that Matt Cardona has moved on and done big things.
Yeah.
I think casual WWE fans
I've forgotten about him.
just think Zack Ryder went bye-bye for a little bit, right? They don't know where the fuck he went. They don't know he's out there doing like hardcore blood Texas death matches and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things, again, like does he come back and does he fall right back into Zack Ryder, or does he come back as Matt Cardona and the WWE people are like, what the fuck is Zack Ryder got a different name for?
Yeah.
When
did Zack become Matt?
What's Zack doing, man? I don't know. Is that happening? Is there a chance we see John Cena in the Royal Rumble?
I think so. I think that's a
He's
possibility.
promoting the fuck out of this. What is the character from the DC movie?
Oh, the one with the metal head thing.
Yeah,
right?
what is that called? He's been on everything. He was on Pat McAfee.
What if he came as that character?
I am all fucking for that. I am all about that if that character enters the Royal Rumble. We've already got Johnny Knoxville. Peacemaker.
Fuck yeah.
Let's get Peacemaker. Let's fucking start it right now. Let's start hashtag we want Peacemaker in the Royal Rumble.
All right.
Hashtag we want Peacemaker. Last but not least is someone named Will Ospreay. There's a consensus that this dude could be coming. This is another one. Forgive me, people. Casual wrestling fan. I don't know who Will Ospreay is. The internet seems to really fucking like this guy. Saw a picture of him. He had like 37 belts on. He's like champion of every fucking division in every other company, apparently. Right?
All right.
I think he's in New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm going to get fucking murdered for not knowing that because clearly people tell me you're not a real wrestling fan if you don't know New Japan Pro Wrestling, even though I fucking state all the time, casual wrestling fan. Casual wrestling podcast. Casual wrestling podcast here.
All right.
Okay?
Yes,
so,
sir.
but Will Ospreay, apparently if Will Ospreay shows up, I said it first. I fucking said it first, right? But that's it. Yeah, that's basically who we got. All right, let's jump into the dirt sheets here.
Okay.
I struggled with putting this article on the show today because I felt like I want a positive show. I feel like we've been positive tonight.
Okay.
And I didn't want to throw this article in here, but I felt it was relevant. It does feel like I shit on AEW all the time, but when stuff like this pops up, I don't know how else to react to this other than I got to shit on AEW a little bit, right? CM Punk has come out and he did an interview where he basically has blasted fans who approach and wait for him in airports or places that they suspect he will be, and they approach him for autographs, right?
What a bitch.
Now, I read one article about this. I don't have all the details, so once again, I'm going to speculate the fuck out of this thing.
Speculate.
The vibe I got from him was the COVID vibe, right? Was the don't come at me because you know, we're in a pandemic. Cool, right? You take your stance. Take your side.
Yeah.
My problem is, motherfucker, you were jumping into the crowd 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You didn't give a fuck about COVID when it was your big return party.
I agree.
You were diving into crowds. Now, he came out and he addressed that in the article, and he's like, well, those people were all vaccinated. I think, I'm not a doctor, but I think it's pretty common knowledge at this point that being vaccinated doesn't stop the transmission, that it makes having COVID less fucking serious, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know either way. I don't know either way. I'm not going to get into the political side of this. This is just what fucking I've read from watching Pat McAfee, from watching Joe Rogan, watching CNN, watching Fox News. I get news from all over the fucking place. I'm not a goddamn virologist. But it sounds to me like CM Punk is basically just saying, hey, man, don't fuck with me in my personal life. And I'm going to use this pandemic as a way to kind of shut this down. It feels to me like he's going, I fucking love the fans. I'm back for the fans. I came back for the fans. Just stay the fuck away from me. Don't approach me outside of wrestling. And I hate this argument that like pro wrestlers should get a personal life. No, you don't. When you make money being in the public eye and these fans spend all this money to come see you, man, you could sign a fucking autograph. I saw Antonio Brown on the, what is the podcast called?
Metzler.
It's Bob
Mernick.
Bob Murney or whatever.
Murney.
But I don't remember the Nelk Boys, I think is what it's called. The Nelk Boys, I think, podcast.
Okay.
And Antonio Brown was speaking on the fact that, like, as a celebrity or an athlete or a person in a high place, you don't understand, or you have to understand what signing that autograph or taking that picture can do for a person
who
may be in a fucked up place.
For sure.
And I get you can't do it all the time, but the airport seems a little sketchy. I'm not a guy who approaches people, but if someone approaches me, you got to be flattered. I don't care how many fucking times it happened. You only live so long. You can't. Once you turn this shit into like you deserve this and you have all this fucking privacy, go fuck yourself, man.
Little Mitch.
Also, he's Mr. I'm here for the young guys, right?
Okay, yeah.
And now we're hearing rumors that he's like irritated with MJF.
Why?
Because MJF said some fucking things that like crossed an imaginary line of professional wrestling. Told you something about, main eventing WrestleMania that maybe got under your skin. I think it was Bully Ray. Bully Ray alluded to the fact that one probably cut deep.
So what?
It's wrestling, man, and that's what
also
MJF
what MJF
does.
Exactly.
And if fucking props, y'all want me to go and give props to MJF if he fucking
got under his skin.
If he CM Punk, right? If he got under CM Punk's skin, props to MJF.
Mm-hmm. Bravo.
All right, moving on.
Okay.
Corey Graves. Did you read the news?
No.
Corey Graves has been medically cleared or allegedly been medically cleared to return to a WWE ring.
The announcer?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
So this is another guy like the Will Ospreays and the Mooses of the world that I don't have a ton of watch time with Corey Graves wrestling. I can just eye test. He's little. He's a small guy.
Little.
That's all I'm going to say about size. Fucking that's it. He's a little undersized. He's got a great look. Yeah. All the tattoos, the weird French outfits and things like that. He unbelievable on a microphone. Obviously, we know that. He's the best commentator on Monday Night Raw. And good for him. Can he come back and take over WWE? No.
So are they thinking they want him to wrestle at Royal Rumble?
I don't know. I didn't get any farther than the fact that I saw it looks like he was medically cleared to wrestle again. Funny thing about him is, to me, he's got like the perfect look of like the AEW guys.
Yeah.
I think he would probably do well in AEW. Unfortunately, WWE's not gonna. So
I'm looking at his pictures. He was kind of like a pretty boy punk rocker type.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what you could. He's got a CM Punk light feel to him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm going to go back tonight probably and watch some of the network and try and catch up on some of these guys and maybe try to see who Will Ospreay is. And
I definitely like to see Corey Graves.
But I'd like to see if he was even worth the shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's always kind of exciting when it's fun no matter who it is, when you've been told, hey, that thing you wanted to do your whole life, you can't do that anymore. And then all of a sudden they go, oh, medical advances have come a long way. We think you could do that again. That's what I'm like. Cross our fingers. That's what's happening with Paige.
Yeah, for sure. That would be super cool. I loved her.
Someone brought this up on TikTok earlier, and I saw this article, so I feel like I need to talk about it, but I'm not going to go real deep into it because I'm not a fucking lawyer. The MLW, Major League Wrestling, is suing WWE.
Okay.
The MLW CEO says WWE has anti-competitive behavior that has to stop.
What does that mean?
I guess this is news, right? I think it means that WWE interfered in some of their television deals.
Okay.
That they stepped in and told, I think it was like Spike TV or Vice TV, one of those companies.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Spike is still a TV network.
I don't know.
But they told one of those networks, they said like, hey, we don't appreciate you doing business with other wrestling companies, even though I don't think they have affiliation, but they
Yeah.
kind of big dick the industry in wrestling. And
Yeah, or they're like maybe under the same parent network or something.
so then it had something to do with it. There's an app called Tubi,
yeah, I know what Tubi is.
and MLW was working some kind of deal out with Tubi that fell apart at the last minute. And then come to find out Fox, which is, in bed with WWE, bought Tubi.
Yeah.
So they're thinking there's some like antitrust things going on and sketchy shit. And it probably is. But guess what, people? This is what happens in big companies, right?
Yeah.
Big companies stay big companies because they fucking eat little companies, and it sucks. But that's the way fucking big business goes.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not a lawyer. I don't think it's a secret that WWE is a little bit of a bully company. I think that's pretty public knowledge.
Stay at the top at all costs.
So this probably gets settled in a courtroom somewhere,
Probably
and we
still
never
money
hear
in
anymore.
the
Like, yeah,
game.
there's probably some kind of payout that goes MLW's way, and then they're told you don't fucking speak about this ever again. I assume that's what gets made of this. I'm not gonna jump to conclusions about this. Last article I had, which I basically already spoke on, so I'm not going to spoke too much on it, was that Nikki Bella wants her Miracle Royal Rumble comeback to lead to a tag team title match. I talked about it. I think
That would be pretty cool.
I think that's. I
think
mean,
that'd be a good
when you
match.
start like laying out booking, you go, they've got nothing in the pipe for the women's tag team division. Let's inject some Bella Twins into that.
It would get me excited for the women's
Me
division
too.
again.
To give them one run with it, we can kind of send them off into the sunset with that. They've come back, they've gone away, they've come back. They've never got the proper send off. The fact that they're both healthy enough at the same time to do this, let's do it. Like, let's roll into WrestleMania, let them win the titles, and they could drop it. They can have a short run with it, and then they can drop it.
Yeah, for sure.
SummerSlam or something like that, right? All right, let's move into the burning question of the week.
Okay.
There it is. All right. So last week we went deep down in a rabbit hole of the bullshit with does size matter in professional wrestling. And so this week I wanted to like fucking run as far away from something controversial and serious and do something more fun this week.
Okay.
Even though no matter what the fuck I do or say or make a list of, the internet wrestling community, the IWC, the heel Joshes, the fucking infamous opinionists, they're all going to fucking...
Chris Griffin.
They're all going to come at... Yeah, Chris Griffin.
I don't know his real name, but...
Yeah. Fucking... He annoys me so bad. I don't want to duet with these people anymore. I don't want to
You don't want to duet with them. They want to duet
I know.
with you.
I've never done a duet. I've never used another... That's not true. Because I've talked shit. I just don't duet. I don't duet them. I do talk shit. So I have used other people as a stepping stone. So I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie about that. All right. But fuck all that shit.
Okay.
Let's get into this. This week's burning question is, it's 2022. You're given an unlimited budget. Tony Khan is my new dad. No, not Tony Khan.
Khan daddy.
Don't want him. What's the Shad Khan? Sean Khan.
Sean Connery?
Fuck, I don't know his name. I forgot his name.
Tony Khan's daddy.
Daddy Khan.
Daddy Khan.
Daddy
I like
Khan has adopted me, and he's told me, Notorious NerdyD, here's a blank check. I need you to go out and put together a roster of wrestlers. And all of a sudden, WWE and AEW, they don't exist anymore, right? So I have free reign. I can offer up anybody. Basically, what I'm getting at is I wanted to make a list of my 10 wrestlers that I would start a professional wrestling company with.
Okay.
Not necessarily who I think are the best wrestlers, not necessarily who I think are my favorite wrestlers.
Okay.
This was 10 wrestlers that I thought if I was starting a company today, these are the wrestlers that I would start my company with. And I'm going to go from 1 to 10 because I think it probably starts off relatively
Obvious
and safe, right? So number one, if I'm starting a wrestling company and I have an unlimited budget and I can pick anybody and I go, who is the guy that they all come to see, right? It's Brock Lesnar.
Big Daddy Brock.
It's Brock Lesnar. And I've never even been, I'm a newly cemented Brock Lesnar fan. So it's not like I've loved him forever, but After seeing Brock Lesnar in person this last time, where we were on the floor,
that was so cool.
On the floor at SmackDown, he's a fucking behemoth, right? When Pat McAfee talks about that's the guy you send to go fight the aliens,
Yeah.
that's the guy you go send to fight the aliens.
Yeah.
That's the alpha fucking male of our species. That's the guy that proves everything I say about size. Mm-hmm. Not gonna say any more about size.
Okay.
Number 2, another big guy, Roman Reigns. I'm definitely going Roman Reigns because he is the best pure wrestling bad guy in the business. Okay?
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying he's the best heel. He's the best wrestling bad guy all the way around. He gets the most reaction out of the most people. Not the best on the microphone, but he is the yin to the yang, right? He's yin to the yang?
Yin to the yang.
Yin or yin?
Yin yang yang. Yin yang.
Y-I-N or Y-I-N-G?
Y-I-N-G-Y-A-N-G.
Okay.
Yin yang.
It's not yin and yang? Why did I think it was yin and yang?
We'll figure the fuck out.
Somebody will correct
this
me
is
on
a
that.
poll.
All right, another
yin
poll. We
yang
got a
or
second
yang
poll
yang?
for the week. All right. So I'm going Brock Lesnar 1, Roman Reigns 2. I'm getting the freak show, the circus. Those are my y'all say I'm the big size guy. That's my big size. That's my meat and potatoes. I can run every pay-per-view with those two guys, and the casual fans are gonna fucking watch. All right, number 3. We're gonna, number 3, you gotta get creative because you've got your two behemoths. Now I'm going Bryan Danielson. Because Bryan Danielson to me is the best wrestler in the world. Now, my wrestling knowledge, let's take into consideration, doesn't go to Japan, doesn't go all over the world. I see the world through like WWE and AEW. So as far as that goes, Bryan Danielson is my best all around. He's like a 9 in almost everything, and probably a 10 in some.
Yeah.
But he's good on a microphone, good in the ring, good charisma, good whatever, good at everything, right?
Yeah.
Good at everything. How he's not AEW champion right now, I don't fucking know. Seems like the biggest misstep in the world, right? All right, so I got Brock Lesnar. I got Roman Reigns. Now I can sprinkle in some Bryan Danielson into that mix. Now we're going number 4. This might surprise some people because I don't fucking like this guy. Mm-hmm. But he sells tickets.
Okay.
And when he's on, he's on.
All right.
CM Punk is number 4. I'm starting a company. I'm going to use CM Punk the right way.
Use him for his.
I'm going to use him the right way. I'm going to have disgruntled, angry, ornery, curmudgeon
Old
CM Punk. Old CM, not even old CM Punk. I need CM Punk to go out there and have that swagger, that heel
PC
swagger.
Punk.
Not PC Punk, not PG Punk. We're not doing that. Right? So with those 4 guys, I feel like I'm selling out every arena I go to. Every arena I go to, I'm selling out the arena, right? Number 5, here we go. We're going to swerve a little bit.
Swerve it.
Number 5, my most important person in starting a wrestling company,
Okay.
Paul Heyman. Not even gonna go wrestler here.
Yeah.
And it's funny because he's been associated with 3 of the top 4 guys on my roster here. But I think his knowledge of the business, his ability to work a crowd, I believe, and people argue with me, but once again, casual wrestling fan, I believe he's the greatest manager of all time that I've seen, that I've witnessed. I haven't seen some of the older managers that people reference, but to me, in my lifetime, he's the best manager I've ever seen, or advocate, or whatever the fuck you want to call
I'd
it.
agree
So I
with
think
you.
he's invaluable now because you've got Brock Lesnar, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got CM Punk, you've got Paul Heyman, you've got interesting storylines.
Yeah.
You've got a lot
So
to
many different
fucking
to
work
do.
with there.
Uh-huh.
All right, so then we're going to go number 6. And I like this because I think, well, first of all, it's Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, the best bout machine.
Uh-huh.
I think he poses a lot of interesting matchups with guys that I've named already, right? We've never seen Kenny Brock. We've never seen Kenny Roman.
True.
We still haven't seen Kenny CM Punk, to my knowledge. Maybe it happens somewhere in a far off land that doesn't exist in my head, but we've never seen this. So I think he fits in talent-wise as good as Bryan Danielson.
Yeah.
So now I've got 2 highly technical guys. I got 2 fucking behemoths of men. And I've got CM Punk, who is just CM Punk. And when he's on, there's nobody better.
Exactly.
When he's on, there's nobody better. When he's off, everybody's better. That's the problem with CM Punk, right?
Yeah.
So now I've got Brock, Roman, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Paul Heyman, Kenny Omega. Number 7, Seth Rollins. Seth freaking Rollins.
Yeah.
I almost went MJF here.
Oh.
But I'm still not confident in MJF's ability to wrestle.
I agree. I don't know if I've actually
I don't know if he's a good wrestler or not. I've seen him in a few matches at this point, but I've never seen him just put on an impressive match.
I always feel like he's running all the time.
Talking his shit, he's great. But if I'm going top 10, I'm going 10 guys. This is my first round. These are my A team. I don't think that MJF goes there. I think Seth Rollins does. The drip god, he's got this kind of enigma ability to adapt and change characters. He's that fucking irritating guy. Uh-huh. He gets under your skin. And I feel like Kenny Omega, Seth Rollins, there is just irritation all over the fuck. Me as like the guy I am that gets like annoyed, I think I'm fucking annoyed by that feud. But like in the good way.
Yeah.
I'm goodly annoyed.
You hate it so much you want to keep on watching.
Like these guys are just fucking irritating, but I love it. Kenny Omega, Seth Rollins. I like that. I think Seth, he's young, still got young wrestling. He's still got enough in the tank that he could go, and he puts on good matches. So I'm going there. Number 8, here we go. This is where the internet wrestling community is probably going to come for me. It's Bianca Belair.
That's an interesting one.
Well, because you're going to need the woman superstar, and I think out of all the women, physically, she is the most gifted.
Even over Becky Lynch?
Physically?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. You think that in a real fight, how long do you think Becky Lynch lasts in a real fight? Like with Bianca Belair? Like 2.4 seconds?
Okay. I mean, I guess you're right.
I mean,
I have the strength that Becky has in wrestling world. Bianca
Belair would slap the Irish off of Becky Lynch. That's what would happen.
True.
She'd have brown hair after that shit.
All right.
So I'm going Bianca Belair because I need a tent. I need a flagpole woman wrestler, female wrestler to kind of hang that division on. And I think the crowd loves her, right? To me right now, she is kind of poised. She's not there yet, but she could be the John Cena of women's wrestling.
I could see that.
I think little girls look up to her. They love her. Mm-hmm.
She's positive.
I don't know how you dislike her other than if you're just kind of a D-bag, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you could say you could dislike her because of her skill, but I don't know, as a person, she just seems kind of fun and happy. Mm-hmm. So that's my 8, right? So I got Brock, Roman, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Paul Heyman, Kenny Omega, Seth Rollins, Bianca Belair. Number 9, Randy Orton.
Ooh, I like Randy Orton.
He's the fucking utility, right? I mean, you don't see a bad Randy Orton match. No. And so I look at my list and I go, I can put Randy in a match with any one of these motherfuckers.
It'll be great.
It's going to be 5-star, right?
Yeah.
He's going to work with Brock. He can work with Roman. He can work with Bryan. He can work with Punk. He can work with Omega. He can work with Seth. I like it. Like, I can do those. Randy's just utilitarian, man. He just fills out that roster in a way that now you've got a little bit of everything. And he can do a little bit of everything, right? And then number 10, after taking like a long look at my list, I had a lot of names. I made a top 30. I have a top 30 list.
Okay.
And I'm going to post the top 30 list on Twitter. All right. Try and get some people to go look at Twitter. Okay. So I'll put my top 30, like my full roster.
What's your Twitter handle?
I think it's Notorious NerdyD. You put me on the spot right there. Yeah. I've changed it so many times. I believe.
Let's send people to Twitter. So you got to remember your Twitter handle.
If it's not Notorious NerdyD, it will be by the time the show ends. I will go change it to that. So I have a top 30 list. You can go check it out on Twitter, and then we'll probably later in the week post that full list on TikTok in some form of YouTube video. But
yeah,
my number 10. This is a wild card. I'm going to pull a free agent. Tell me. I'm going to a free agent here. It's Bray Wyatt.
Oh, I like that one. I've always loved Bray Wyatt. He was
the most misused character in WWE, and I'm not going to fuck that up. I'm going to give him the Undertaker role.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use him in a special event kind of way. He could go make movies and do those things, and then I'm gonna bring him in for these big events. I'm gonna bring him in for my version of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do the whole spectacle with the fireflies and we're gonna give
that was my favorite Bray Wyatt.
I'm gonna give Bray creative freedom to do all that weird shit that he does.
Abigail.
All that because it all of that should have worked. It all should have worked.
I think it did. When we went to WrestleMania, everybody had their fucking 100%, lights out. But I think just didn't nurture it enough.
They used him too many times as a stepping stone to get other people over. They just did it one too many. Oh, we got to get John Cena back over. Put him in that. Oh, we got to get this guy over. Okay, put him against Bray. And they never let him fully become the kind of monster that he could become. Mm-hmm. So that's my top 10. These are my top 10 names if I'm starting a wrestling company today. Give them to
me one more time.
My top 10 names. I'm starting a wrestling company today. Unlimited budget. Daddy Khan has gave me the keys to the bank vault. I'm going 1, Brock Lesnar. 2, Roman Reigns. 3, Bryan Danielson. 4, CM Punk. 5, Paul Heyman. 6, Kenny Omega. 7, Seth Rollins. 8, Bianca Belair. 9, Randy Orton. 10, Bray Wyatt. And I go all the way to 30. That list will be posted in other places.
Love it.
All right, so let's address a couple comments. This has become customary at the end of the show before 20 questions that I address. A couple of the comments that I get either on TikTok or YouTube. Problem is, the YouTube comments, that's like the high class society. That's where my high class people are. They just say nice shit and like real intelligent shit. And I probably should highlight that. But when you do that, nobody listens. I got to go to like
when
the ones.
When you say nice things, nobody cares.
Okay, but I say that, but then this first one was actually not a combative comment. It was one that I just wanted to kind of expand upon this idea that I think is a misconception among casual wrestling fans. At Nawfy.
Okay.
NAWFYYY. At Nawfy said, and this was part of a longer conversation, but this will make sense in its own. Yeah, AEW is never going to match WWE. WWE sells out NBA arenas while AEW uses small college arenas. AEW is the XFL while the WWE is the NFL. The comparison holds true to me, especially through the eyes of a casual wrestling fan, right? Mm-hmm. AEW fans, they have all this fucking like wrestling knowledge, and they these indie darlings, they feel for them, they love them, they know backstories, they know histories, but it's still to me, it's the minor leagues, not the minor leagues. That's wrong. It's just
D-League.
It's not the big show. It's not the main. It's not where the world is focused. Most of the eyes, the casual fans, and let's be honest again. The internet wrestling community makes up such a small portion of wrestling. They're just real loud. They just get heard a lot, but they're not the dominant fans. Casual fans are the dominant fans of wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. While I will agree with the sentiment, and I don't think it's wrong that AEW does this, right? Because a small, packed out arena looks way better on TV. Yeah. Than a giant empty arena or half-filled arena.
And it makes sense business-wise, I'm sure, too.
But we got to be real when we talk about this, right? The reality is that WWE is attempting to fill out these big arenas. And for the most part, a lot of times they're filling them. You go to a wrestling event in Texas, that motherfucker's full. Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Corpus Christi. Corpus is interesting because that's kind of a college. It's a mid-size arena. But San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it's full. So WWE fills up the big arenas more often than not. AEW does stick to the small arenas, which is fine. It works, right? Yeah. AEW also, if you pay attention, they're booking the same hardcore wrestling spots.
I feel like they're always in fucking Chicago and New Jersey.
I'm not going to hate on that. That's smart. They're playing to an audience they know loves what they do. When I say that the internet wrestling community is small and intelligent, but it's not the main like wrestling community, that's where they are. They're in those places that AEW hangs out. You want to know where like the smart is the wrong word because they don't make them smart. They're just the informed wrestling fans. That's where they are, right? I've said this when we go to San Antonio wrestling. It's not the internet wrestling community. It's full
The
of
interaction
casual.
between the crowd.
It's full of casual fans. They don't know how to start the chants. They don't
agree.
understand the nuances of what's happening.
Yeah.
But just to kind of bring this all back together for Nafi, I agree 100% that until AEW can consistently sell out these big NBA style arenas, and I know what you mean when you say that, because there is a level
Yes.
to like where an NBA team plays, that it's not really a comparison to even be made. This is the argument I have all the time when they go, AEW is so much better, bro, so much bigger and better. It's like, it's not yet. And that's okay. I don't even think that they're attempting to be at this point.
No.
They're just building up they're trying to build their status, and they're trying to fill these little places, and that's great. At Nicholas Joseph 39 came and said, WWE used to get 5, maybe 6 million in viewership. They used to sell out all the time. Now they can barely get 2 million, and crowds are half empty sometimes. So I've already addressed the half empty thing, right? WWE's attempting to fill up much bigger arenas than AEW, but I want to address this. WWE used to get 5 or 6 million views, right?
Okay.
As far as I could see by looking up statistics, the last time WWE had 5 million was like Raw 1000, which was a big deal. They brought back a bunch of people. It was a big hoopla, big show. Other than that, you probably got to go way, way back to see 5 or 6 million people watching a wrestling show, right? But let's be real, right? Because I pulled this up from it was one of the television companies. Unfortunately, TV ratings have declined on broadcast TV since the 1980s, right? The decline in weekly reach of all TV has gone from 92% in the year 2019 to 87% in the year 2021. People watch less TV.
Yeah.
Now, there's multiple reasons that happens, right? Number one,
Streaming.
so there's a million things to watch today.
Yeah.
Back during the Attitude Era, like at Monday night, you could either watch football or wrestling, right?
Yeah.
SmackDown, you could either, like, there was limited choices. You didn't have 572 channels.
True.
You didn't have, like, do you know what killed cable access TV? YouTube, right? It's what affords us the ability to make a television broadcast, right? A podcast,
True.
a video cast. We're able to do this because of YouTube. So this idea that like WWE is failing, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that all TV is failing. I think that all big television products are failing because of shows like this podcast, shows like the Pat McAfee podcast, because I can eat up 100 listeners, right?
I mean, look at our kids. They don't watch cable. They
That's exactly
watch
right.
YouTube.
And if I can eat up 100 listeners, there's probably 1 million people like me talking on a microphone, and there goes a big part of your audience. The NBA's audience is down. The NFL's audience is down. Everybody's audience is down. People just aren't watching TV the way they used to. There's too much content. We're in a content-rich time, which is great, but wrestling, I think WWE is doing fine for exactly what they do. They focus on the network, selling subscriptions. They sell out arenas. I don't think they really care if they sell them out or not. They have seat fillers. They play the game. It is what it is, right? This argument to be made that WWE has declined exponentially, I think WWE's declined in the same way that all television has declined.
Yeah.
And like younger people just don't watch TV as much. It's reality, right? There's so many fucking things to do. The internet. These people are all over the fucking internet. TikTok, yeah. I mean, I bet you that TikTok is a huge portion of like audiences. So many people consume, like, I laugh, and this is the last thing I'm gonna do before we go to 20 questions. I laugh at the amount of people who talk shit about the clips that you post on our TikTok as if that is the whole story to what I'm saying.
Yes.
And then I say something to them, right? They'll go, bro, you're just a fucking idiot. And I'm like, all right, if you haven't watched the whole podcast, maybe let's cool it on the you're just a fucking idiot. And let's just go, this clip doesn't make sense, right? But they come at me. So then I go, have you watched the whole podcast? And they go,
No,
bro, I'm not going to watch the whole podcast. I'm not good fucking try. I'm like, I don't need you to watch the podcast. What I need you to understand is if you don't know the context of what was said and how it was said, let's maybe not call me a fucking idiot, right?
True.
You could disagree with what I'm saying 100%, but to like act like there wasn't more said, You're the fucking idiot. You're the idiot because you didn't do any kind of research coming into what you said.
True.
And I've probably addressed your concern in what I've said. All right, let's go to 20 questions. What do we got this week? Did I win last week? I did win last week.
Did you get
But I was called out.
Okay.
I was called out.
You
and
almost didn't get it. I remember.
I was called out because I said that Batista was in the Attitude Era, and I swore by that.
Yeah.
And then I was called out, and I don't remember his name, and I'm going to look it up.
We'll shout him out.
I'll shout him out.
Okay.
But I was called out, and they told me that Batista debuted at the beginning of Ruthless Aggression. I looked it up. I was 100% wrong. I was
right.
wrong. I'm eating the L on that one. So for everybody who says I never say I'm wrong and that I think I know it all, understand that when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And I was wrong. I'll eat the L on that. All right, let's go. Let's do this. Let's get out of here.
All right.
All right, is this person currently on the WWE roster?
Yes.
Ah, yay. I can do this. Okay. This person's currently on the WWE roster. Is this person on Monday Night Raw?
Yes.
Oh, 2 for 2. Coming out the gate swinging here. Is this a male superstar?
Yes.
All right, so it's a male. Is this person part of a tag team?
Currently or ever?
Currently.
No.
Okay, that's 4. Are you keeping count?
Yeah, I got them on my fingers.
Okay, that's 4. Not part of a tag team. Is this person, did this person appear on this last Monday Night Raw?
Yes.
All right, so this is somebody in the spotlight. It's not Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens was not on Monday Night Raw.
No.
Okay, did this person, I could really get technical by narrowing down the hour like I fucking remember who was where. Is this person in a title picture?
Like in line for one?
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
Yes.
Is this person in the WWE title picture?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm confused.
Wait, so you said they're in a title picture.
Yes.
So that means that like on television they're being portrayed as somebody who could win this belt.
Yes.
So this person is.
Yes.
So
That was 6.
are they currently going after or being portrayed towards the the black belt?
I don't know which belt it is.
Okay, so Raw has the WWE title, SmackDown has the Universal title. There's the United States Championship, which is on SmackDown, and there's the United States is on Raw.
He's going after a belt. All right, that's all you need to know.
Oh,
Continue.
that's bullshit.
No, continue. Next one.
Is it a major belt?
Yes.
Well, no,
There's only 2 belts.
No, there's not.
Well,
there's 2 major.
there's only 2 belts that really matter.
Okay, so he's going after a belt that you would say really matters?
Yes.
All right, so he's going after the WWE title, or did this person cross over to SmackDown?
No.
So it's not Seth Rollins, okay?
Wait.
Is it Seth Rollins?
Seth Rollins.
Burn it down!
You got it.
Okay, so we're gonna have a little belt discussion before we go off air.
Okay.
Little knowledge here. There's not just 2 belts.
Okay, well, there's only 2 belts in my mind. The one that Brock Lesnar has and Roman Reigns.
You
has
understand
right now.
that every show has
Their own belt, a red belt and the blue belt.
but they have a major belt, which is the WWE title and the Universal Championship. Then they have a mid-card belt, which is the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like I say that
which
like
is Shansuke
that's
Nakamura.
Intercontinental. I feel like I now, because I've listened to it so much, say it in Rick Boog's voice. The Intercontinental Champion. So yeah, so each show has
so
2
Raw
belts and a
is-
set of tag team belts.
Is Shinsuke Nakamura.
No, that's SmackDown.
Okay,
Because
so then
he's-
who's Raw?
Damian Priest.
Oh, I don't like him, so I've just blocked him out of my mind. So
All right.
That would
but
totally
going
explain
forward, we're going to have to get this belt thing under control because it almost threw me off.
yes, we need to clarify when the
Hey, wait,
Attitude Era was.
What do you mean? When I asked the question, did he cross over to SmackDown? What do you
Well,
mean, no?
I just know him from he's Raw man.
Did
to
you
me.
watch SmackDown this week?
Yes, I did.
He showed up in Roman Reigns' office.
Well, I didn't think that like he was gonna be there forever. So to me, he's a Raw man. He's on Raw.
No,
he's on Team Raw.
You're right. He's primarily Raw. But when I say does he cross over, I'm referring to like
Okay.
you would say Brock Lesnar has crossed over, right?
Okay.
All right. This has been another episode of the Notorious NerdyD Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am NerdyD. That is Level Up Lauren, and you can ring that final bell.
Ding 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 ding.
You struggle with the end of this show, girl.
Notorious.
Bye.
Big it up, big it up. Yeah.
That countdown's not the last scene.
Yeah.